Hello, I'm the Theorizer. A Megamind theory has been in the works for a whole year now, and I finally discovered something sort of worth the constant observing. Luckily, the polls suggest a Megamind video is a good idea, so let's analyze. Out of the entirety of this film, I'm particularly interested in the parts we are not given much information about. This is obviously Megamind's childhood. We are given very little information about his home planet or what caused its destruction. We see a black hole is responsible, though there's always the chance something shadier went on. That's for another day, though. Right now, we need to move further into the future, Megamind's first day of school. What always seemed very weird to me was how Megamind hopped out of the jail and went to school only a few yards away. Why is it so close? Was this for comedic effect? Was it an exaggeration? A false memory of his life? No, it can't be that, because a couple scenes later we see it yet again at a different angle. It's like that in more than one scene. This school is right next to a maximum security prison. What kind of horrendous planner approved this? It's not even really a school, it's like a singular schoolhouse with a single teacher and a few quote-unquote gifted kids. But this is just according to the slogan. Gifted as in Megamind, gifted as in Metro Man, gifted as in, apparently, just all the normal children, and this girl who seems to have disabilities is included too. So is this school just for standard children, or is there something different about these children? It could just be a fun slogan, but then there's the frightening fact that right next door, there's a penitentiary housing the quote-unquote criminally gifted. Little gifted kids, crazy gifted criminals. Coincidence? I think not. These two have got to be tied. There's something too strange with all of this. Want more evidence of a direct correlation? Happy to oblige. How about the fact that the main mode of this prison's transportation appears to be a school bus? It's branded with the prison name, but lo and behold, something else can be seen hidden and blurred for a split second behind young Megamind. A blatant confirmation that it belongs to the Metro City School District. Holy crap! Well, it could just be an old bus that the prison was given by the school system, but the bus literally goes to the school still, indicating otherwise. And it could all be nothing, but Dreamworks did make a point of having each side of the bus read different things. And they made a point of hiding one of the titles in plain sight. The animators of Dreamworks usually don't go out of their way to change things like this. Most newspapers in the film just have a set of keyboard letters repeated over and over because they kept typing to randomly fill the text slot. So for this to be of significance to them, it indicates they mean something more. Why would a children's school bus have bars on the windows? Why wouldn't the prison just paint over the words that say school district? Well, as I said, maybe the two truly are tied. If all of this wasn't proof enough that something shady was never explained, then simply observe the schoolroom intensely. If you look at the bus drawn at the front of the room, it has a bunch of class children, and monitoring everything from the back, just sitting there, is a perfect depiction of the warden, observing, watching. Upon finding all of this, I had a single thought. Holy wow! These two are connected, obviously. Look at that! There's some reason that they keep a children's elementary school right next to a prison. They teach children who are gifted, hence why they sent Megamind and Metro Man there, but why? It seems to be a school of gifted children, intelligent, physically adept, each of them has something, clearly including the girl they tried to single out. But why build the gifted school next to a prison for gifted villains? Government testing? Precaution in case things get out of hand with the kids that are too smart? There's nothing really special about the teacher, and the so-called gifted kids sing Itsy Bitsy Spider instead of doing anything actually important. There's something strange going on here, and I think I'm on to something. Now, I have minimal evidence for what I'm about to say, but I'd like to propose it. Metro Man's adoptive parents, according to a close zoom I made on their presence, are named Bobby and Sally, and they are unbelievably rich individuals. Look at their mansion and the amount of gear they gave their son to let him flourish. Their son is an alien, one who, like it or not, would be quite alienated from everybody else. They don't treat him as a human. everybody, even his own parents, treat him as a superior being, whether they love him or even fear him, but more on that in a sec. Even when Metro Man quits at the end of the movie, he says he's gotten tired of it all. He feels alienated and bored, so he degrades himself into a bad singer to be like everybody else. Common sense tells us he'd feel this way about himself, and he even does show it. So in order to make him feel at home or to fit in, his parents could have done many things. They can't exactly make him more normal, but they can make everybody else seem a bit more equal to him. Sort of like a staged method of therapy, such as a youth group or a school for so-called gifted kids, to make him feel like he's fitting in. No children there are visibly gifted or worthy of going to a school with such a title, they're just normal kids. If his parents and the government did have a school constructed for their future savior's benefit, then it completely explains why he had such authority to do whatever he wanted with the school. Rip it out of the ground, move it out far towards a beach, use it as a hideout for years after its disestablishment, throw around the teacher, etc., etc. And it only leaves the question, why would they build it next to the prison of criminally gifted convicts? Well, it could be to monitor Metro Man's ego, but more likely, Megamind, the only one who could possibly contrast Metro Man. Both are aliens spared from a supermassive black hole with some form of an immense gift, who received polarizing lives. It's the perfect making for a hero. As this movie's moral states, a superhero can't exist unless there's a supervillain. They tortured Megamind relentlessly in school for no reason other than to torment him. The school builds Metro Man's ego uncontrollably, and they only stop bugging Megamind once he's officially made his decision to become a villain, like the grand plan would have tried to achieve. And this movie's other grand moral is, yes, heroes and villains aren't born. They always have to be made. Now there's some good reasoning to this collection of evidence I've gathered. But why worship this kid? Why submit to this flying baby? It's as I mentioned before, deep down they all fear him. If his ego builds, or even his fear of being alone, things could get very out of hand. They need someone he can divert his attention to, someone who can make him feel good about himself. A perfect villain. And when Metro Man realizes the truth of what's happened, he quits. That's when he becomes humble again and finally tries to be like a normal human being. Watching the movie over and over again, I keep getting this feeling like the city thinks differently of Metro Man than we'd like to believe. They all convince themselves that they love him, but really think about it. The amount of danger and fear these people must live in is astounding. Not of Megamind, he really doesn't win, ever. They fear Metro Man and submit to him. This film's goal is to really go for a different take on superhero stories, and this is more proof of it. But the people who feel slightly spooked by Metro Man, they've built this false dependency on him, a sort of indirect form of Stockholm Syndrome, a condition where a victim falls for their captor. Metro Man feels trapped by the public and media, and the public feels trapped by Metro Man. That's why it truly was such a brilliant idea to fake his death. The city is a vast sea of deficient sheeple. A very short time after Metro Man dies, they all care so deeply about the ex-villain who saved them this time. They follow the leader. They've all been misled, and it's genuinely frightening. On the surface, they all react so expectedly to everything. They boo the villain instead of cowering in fear. They overly cheer for the hero. But under the surface, the sense of brokenness is very much so visible. Metro Man's powers seem to come with a general sense of false heroism that only he can naturally contain. When Hal absorbed all of the power, he immediately treated himself like a god. He developed a horrendously blatant sense of hero syndrome, which is basically where someone puts other people in danger just so that they can save them and act like a hero. And oh, Hal goes nuts with this kind of thing. It's his brain. It cannot handle it all, and this is why people have the right to fear Metro Man. His powers are uncontrollable, and the true fear he instills in people is an observation only apparent once you analyze and deduce your way to a shocker conclusion.